Welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to do a little pretzel making, and I'm going to share my recipe with you for Auntie Anne's copycat pretzels. And it's to start off with, it calls for 1.5 cups warm water, and you want your water to be at least 105 degrees, but not more than 110 degrees. If you get your water too hot, it's going to kill your yeast, and your yeast is not going to rise. You cannot eat that. Now go. So what I've done is I've measured out 1.5 cups of hot water, warm water in here, and I've already mixed my yeast in here to let it start to dissolve. I don't have a fancy mixer, and I don't want to have to do all that kneading. So I've pulled out my bread machine back here, and that's what I'm going to do my dough in today. I'm going to make my dough in my bread machine. Then when it's done, I'm going to transfer it to this well-oiled stainless steel bowl and let it rise for an hour. After an hour, I'll be able to roll the pretzels and get them in the oven and get them cooking. Now what I'm going to do is I have a friend on Facebook who is also a Pampered chef consultant, and she uses the pretzels to take to work for her husband. So I had told her that I would do a video and show her some of the different things she could do with pretzels and to take to work, because she made cookies and other things, and the pretzels didn't seem to go over so well. They like the little sweet things. So I'm going to make some pretzel sticks later with my pretzels. I'm going to make some longer pretzel sticks, and I'm going to dip them in some chocolate and put some sprinkles on them. And I'm also going to do some cinnamon sugar pretzels, or some cinnamon sugar nuggets. But I'll also show you how to do some pretzels with our really cool pretzel making kit that we have. But I don't personally need that. I can roll them pretzels myself. I've done that for 13 years, so I know a little bit about pretzels. So let's get started here. So we have 1/2 cup of water, 1 package of yeast. If you have a big container of yeast and you don't use packages, it's going to be 1 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. Okay, so we're going to add that. Of course, you know when you use your bread machine, you put everything in the bread machine. You put everything in the bread machine. You start liquid first. Okay, so I'm put my yeast mixture in here. Okay. Then I'm going to get my stuff over here. Amy, stop. Go on. Go see John. He'll give you some soda. Okay. And I'm going to pull out 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And this is the tablespoon, so I'm going to pull out 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. 1, 2. And you don't need that either. Get your fork out of there. You think you got to eat everything. And we got to have 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. Where's my... So I got enough in here. I should. 1. Go on now. And 1/4 teaspoons of salt. Now this calls for 1 cup of flour dough and 3 cups, or 1 cup of bread flour and 3 cups of flour. Well, I use all-purpose flour, and that's just what I have, and that's just what I use. So you do it however you want to do it at your house, but I'm doing 4 cups of flour, just regular flour. I'm going to dig out my 1 cup measuring cup. We're just going to do where my leveler went. Amy, I think Amy got it. So we're just going to, and do level cups. You don't have to do anything fancy. 1. I hope this fits 4 cups, but I think it will. 2. Oh yeah, you'll be all right. And that's a lot of dough. But there's so much you can do with the pretzels. It's 3. And 1 more. 4. All right. We add all that together, and then the recipe will stop. And if you want this recipe, you can text me later and I'll give it to you. So we stop at that. Now we're going to put it on. I'm putting it in my bread machine. It's been 100 years since I've used this bread machine, so make sure I get it in there right. Okay, yeah, I got it. Hang on, okay. Make sure I get it in the right, oh, it goes this way. Oh, let's see. Alright, there we go. Got it in there. I'm going to put the lid on it, and I'm just going to set mine to make the dough. Okay? So program select, bread, dark, light, alright, dough. So we're just doing dough. So it's going to hit start, and it's just going to knead that for me. And that eliminates me having to do anything, and I don't have to have any fancy mixer, but it's going to make a nice dough ball. So I'm going to leave you at that, and we'll let you, I'll start this video back up when we get it into the, ready to put into the oiled pan. So our dough's ready. It's been proofing for an hour. And I'm going to, there you go, it's almost doubled in size. It's going to make a lot of pretzels. So here we go. Put this over here, try to do two things at once here, and I hope I can do it. All right, so what I have here is I'm going to take a little bit of oil back. And this is our spritzer. I'm just going to pump this up a couple times. I'm going to spray a little oil right here on the counter because I don't want my dough while I'm working to get stuck to the thing. I'm just going to cover that up, pop that out. Oh, come on. There you go. Look at that beautiful dough. There's my little, just keep that there so we can cover it up. And that's just a piece of parchment paper that I used to cover it because I didn't have any dough covers. The best way to do this is if you have a pizza cutter. Take the pizza cutter and cut you off a hunk of dough. There. And you can roll it on here. Okay? And I like to roll them. This right here will tell you how to roll them. Okay? If you see on here, it gives you the directions. This is our pizza, our pretzel mold. So you're going to take it like this, and you're going to wrap it. Now don't pull it tight. You don't want to pull it tight because if you pull it tight, what's going to happen is your dough, it's going to be, your holes are going to be so small, it's all going to look like a clump of pretzel. So you're just going to lightly wrap it following these directions. This one goes this way. This one goes this way. And now, it doesn't call for a roll. It calls for you to do it like this right here. But if you want to be a little authentic, just twist it a little and get a little knot in there. And then when you get it to here, pinch your toes. Okay? These are toes right here. Okay, these are toes. You want to pinch your toes. Just give them a pinch. That way they'll stay together. Now, you notice how I don't have it pulled so tight and I don't have it very thick. That's okay. It's going to rise as it bakes. So you're going to pull it off like this. That's what this is for. You're going to dip it in the baking soda solution. Okay? And this baking soda solution is what gives it its wonderful golden brown color. Okay? So just let it drip a little. And then you're going to take it off here and you're going to lay it on the tray just like that. You have a beautiful little pretzel. So let's redo it again, okay? Just a small strip of dough. You don't need much, okay? If you buy our dough bag, this is not that recipe, but if you do buy the dough bag, the pretzel dough, it makes 8 pretzels, I believe, okay? So there you go. You have a small piece of rope, and it's bigger than this, so I'd say it's about 18 inches long. Okay? Lay it on here like this. Again, lightly wrap. Don't pull tight. Lightly wrap around. When you get to the middle here, you can make a little twist so you have a knot. Pinch your toes like that. Lift off. Put your baking soda solution. Now the baking soda solution is 2 cups of water. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of baking soda. I use a little bit more. Dab it, drop it, and there you go. Put it on the tray. You have beautiful little pretzels. Okay? And if, like I said, if you use a pizza cutter, it cuts it so nice. Okay? Again, you're going to roll. Come back here. Wrap around. Twist. Pinch the toes. I'm getting carried away. Pinch the toes. Lift off. Dip. Let it drain. Whoop. Uh-oh. That's okay. We still salvage that puppy. We're just going to do this. Okay? Now, and you get some very nice sized pretzels. Okay? Don't they look beautiful? Now, how do we salt these pretzels? Well, we're going to do these 3 salted. And I'm just going to take a little bit of salt here. I use kosher salt. If you go somewhere and you can get bigger salt or pretzel salt, that's fine. Kosher salt is fine, and it will stick to your pretzels. You do want to salt them while they're wet in the baking soda solution. That helps the salt stick. But remember that this is very salty, and it's fine. So a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just going to take a pinch, and I'm just going to sprinkle a pinch over it. Okay? Just a pinch. Just a pinch. There we go. Just a pinch. Now, I'm going to make a couple more because we're going to make some that are not salted. Where'd my pizza cutter go? I feel like I'm at work. So you cut a little piece of dough off. And when you're rolling, you want to do stretch and roll, stretch and roll. Because the less amount that you manipulate this dough, the better, fluffier your pretzel will be. So you stretch and roll, just like that. Stretch and roll, stretch and roll. Okay? There you go. Stretch and roll. Now I'm going to show you. That's how I do my pretzels. Dip it in the baking soda solution, dab, dab. Voila. Okay, there we go. Roll, roll, roll. If you have your dough out like this, you do want to make sure you keep it covered up because it'll dry out, and the dry areas are hard to roll. They get a little crusty on them, but that'll still work. Okay. Twist and go. And you'll notice mine are just a little bit bigger, but that's because that's just how I roll. There we go. I get a raisin in there. Somehow I had a raisin in my flour. Must have been for my Christmas baking. That's crazy. Must have been in my flour. All right, there we go. Now we're going to twist and roll. Isn't that cool? All right. So I got 6 on here, and I got 3 salts, 3 no salts. You see my pretzels okay. These are my pretzels that I rolled without the thing. These are the pretzel maker rolls, and they're pretty good. They look pretty perfect. So let's throw them in the oven. Now I have my oven set at 550 degrees. Woo, it's hot in there. Because you want your oven as hot, and it's not going to take that long to bake. You want to bake them till they're golden brown, and they'll be ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do in the meantime is I'm going to melt a little bit of butter get my butt wet. We'll get a stick of butter, and I'm going to melt that butter, and then that's what we're going to dip them in. Yeah, well, half a stick of butter will be okay. I think that'll be enough. Alright, so while those are cooking, I'm melting my butter. About a half a stick of butter is what I'm melting to start out with. And you can dip them in your butter, or you can just use the basting brush and just brush them on. Okay. Now I lined my tray with parchment paper, but that's because we have a liner that can go in your tray, in your sheet pan, a non-stick liner. The problem with that is I do mine at 550 degrees, so the liner is only good up to 400 degrees. So I don't use it for this, and I use the parchment paper instead. But if you have the liner and you want to use the liner, you can use the liner, and you don't have to go up to 400 degrees. Okay? Mm-hmm. It makes it, it's okay to do that. Woo! Yeah, that was an epic fail there on that butter. Make sure when you're melting your butter, you use a microwave-safe butter container, because I just melted it all in my microwave. Let me pause. Okay, so I've got them out of the oven. They didn't take very long to cook at all. You can see how nice and golden brown they are. Look how beautiful. Okay. Oops. All right. So I got my butter melted. Let me get my butter. Now, you're going to take them by the spatula. You're just going to dip them in your butter like this. Lay it down. Now, if you're going to do cinnamon sugar ones, you want to dip the front and the back. Okay? Because you want the cinnamon and sugar to stick really good and all over your pretzel. So you roll them like that. Okay. The other ones you're just going to dip the fronts. Okay. And you can brush your butter on, but it's just faster to do it like that too, okay? So I already have my cinnamon and sugar mixed up right here. Woo! So I'm going to take them and I'm just going to throw one in here like this. And all you're going to do is just shake it, give it a shake. If you have a different bowl, that's fine. Flip it over. Give it a shake on this way. Now the cinnamon sugar blend is however you want to do it. And I'm going to just lay it in this tray right here. Now what I'm using here to shake my cinnamon sugar is our Pampered Chef's. It's a little set of 3 trays that you could do when you're using your, when you're making like breaded pork chops and stuff and doing your egg wash. There you go. I have 3 cinnamon sugar pretzels and 3, now there's many other things you can do with these. Amy, get back. You're going to get burned. Okay. So there you have it. 3 cinnamon sugar, 3 salted. They're very hot. There you go. So some other things you can do with your dough when you get it done, after you make your wonderful pretzels. Slide this over here. Turn this off. There you go. Put this back over here. So, some other things you can do with your pretzel dough is you can be creative. You can roll your pretzel dogs in there. Somebody said they wanted sweet treats. This is something we used to do at work when I worked at Auntie Anne's. This is the best right here. So you get these cheap pack of these dollar mini marshmallow treat bunnies. Okay. You unroll them. You unwrap a couple. These are so scrumptious. You won't even. You can't even imagine. So you're gonna take a little bit of dough, and you're gonna roll it. If you're rolling, you roll your favorite hot dog in these. You can roll your little sausages in them, make little pigs in the blanket or pretzel dog. But this is how you're gonna do it if you're doing a hot dog. But with these, you want to cover the end and pinch it to make sure it's closed and sealed. And then you're just gonna roll these. You see what I'm doing here? You're just gonna roll these, just like this. Oop, I didn't get quite enough dough there. Let me get a little pinch of dough. You want to seal them at the end to make like a cocoon. Just kind of roll it. That way, make sure there's nothing opening. You want it like a little cocoon so that the chocolate won't ooze out. The marshmallow won't ooze out. You just cut off a little hunk, stretch it out there. Again, make sure you put enough on the outside. Was that good? There you go. There you go. And all you're doing is just rolling it, just like this. This is, like I said, let me get a hot dog, and I'll show you how the hot dogs go. Now, if you're doing hot dogs, you may want to warm them up a little bit, about 3 seconds in some hot water, just so that they can just so that they get cooked when you put them in there. Because I know I'm not supposed to use my teeth, but this is my house. We do a couple hot dogs for Amy. Amy loves pretzel dogs. Just roll it out like this, and like I said, take your favorite hot dog, and you're just going to roll it like that. On the hot dogs, you want to leave the end open a little bit. Okay. Just roll it, just like that. Okay. And then again, you can make nuggets or little pretzel sticks. And the way I make the pretzel sticks is I'll roll this out. And I'll make like a letter, an S. Okay. 1, 2. And then you have 4 little pretzel sticks. Okay. They can be salted, they can be cinnamon, they can be whatever you want them to be. Okay. Let's do another roll of pretzel sticks. I'll show you another little cute treat that's good to make. And roll that out into an S. Okay. Now, if you take these, okay, and you braid them, now you make them a little bit bigger if you want, but I kind of pinch all that together, and then I kind of do a braid. Okay. Like you're braiding hair. Get back. Okay. That's a little small, but you do a braid like this, but you don't want to make it tight. You want it to be loose. Okay. And then I'll show you what you're going to do. Back. Don't need a hot dog. I'm going to make you some hot dogs. So you can make these little pizza sticks. Now, I don't have any pepperonis, so I'm just going to make them, Amy. I'm just going to make them with mozzarella cheese, but they're going to be good. I'll show you. So here you go. They're all gone now. That's the last one. I'm going to reuse my little pan here. Again, everything has to be dipped in the baking soda water. The baking soda water is what gives it that nice golden brown color. So Want to dip our little things. And if you're not using the dripper thing, just kind of dab them a little. Okay? Roll it. Okay. We got our pretzel sticks here. We stick them in there. And you could also do nuggets by just doing the pretzel sticks and cutting them in smaller chunks. Okay. Got our pretzel dogs. Now, I'm going to take my cheese that I got, and you can lay your cheese in a bowl and just put your pretzel, your pizza thing in there. Okay. Or you can just do like I'm going to do and just sprinkle some cheese on it, like this right here. And push that cheese in there. Okay. Now, if you had pepperonis, you just throw your pepperonis on there, and it would be awesome, and you'd have a nice lunch, pepperoni stick lunch. You could also do just on your pretzel stick, like this. You could put some cheese on it, or your little pretzel. You could put cheese on it. Let me show you. And make you a pepperoni pretzel if you had. I don't have any pepperonis. I wasn't thinking, or I would have done it that way. I would have got some. Anyway, you roll your. Here you go. Ready? Whoops. You roll your pretzel. Voila. Beautiful. And when you dip it, dab it, and then you put your cheese on there and your pepperonis. Or you can just do cheese if you just want cheese. My cheese has been in the refrigerator too long. I'm just going to throw some cheese on there like that. Now, what's really good is if you do a 3 cheese blend to do your pepperonis. This is just mozzarella, but you buy, like, there's a bag of 3 cheese blend, which is Asiago, Romano, Parmesan. That makes a really good pepperoni pretzel. Or there's a 5 cheese blend that makes a really good pepperoni pretzel. But that's what we have. We have what we have in the house, so that's what we're going to use today. So here you go. So I got some specialty treats. I have some pretzel sticks, some pretzel dogs, and some cheesy pretzel braided pepperoni twist, pretzel twist, and then a just a regular cheesy pretzel. Let's bake those. So now when you get this chocolate to do right, I'm not that good at that chocolate thing. When you get the cinnamon sticks to do right, or the little pretzel sticks to do right, you can do anything with them. You can dip the ends of them in some chocolate and put some sprinkles on them, or dip them in dark and milk chocolate or dark chocolate, and then dazzle, sprinkle or spritz a little white chocolate on them. Be creative. It's yours. Do whatever you want. And I know, I think it was, let me see, who was it that asked me about, that I told I would do this video? There were a couple people. Was looking for something sweet. And so this is, I sent this to them. And it was, let me see. Oh, come on, don't lock up on you now. Why is this not working? Oh, there we go. It was Deborah. Deborah Visnick Williams. I told you I would do that for you. So here is in Oklahoma. So there, I've done this video for you, and I will. And then there was somebody else off of Deborah that I told I sent the same thing to, and I told I would do for them. Let's see if I can remember who that was. Melissa Campbell. That's who it was. Melissa Campbell. So there's the video for you guys. And I'm going to try and dip it in this chocolate, but I'm having a little difficult time keeping my chocolate at a meltable thing because I think I burn it, so it doesn't want to stay smooth. So my chocolate may not be doing very well. Along with doing it in like the little candy bar, the little, here. Go. Now you've eaten all of them. And this recipe is an Auntie Anne's copycat recipe, and look how nice it is inside. See how fluffy? Good and soft. Really good. Can't beat that. Doing it yourself. Let me go through the recipe again for you. It was 1.5 cups water, 1 1/4 cups dry active yeast. Mix your water and yeast. You want to let it set for a few minutes. Make sure when you're doing your yeast and your water that you do not use your hot water too hot, or it will burn. And this actually doubled in size like it's supposed to. And I'll tell you, my yeast was expired, so I was kind of worried that it wasn't going to work, but it worked. My yeast was expired, but it did work. It was expired in November. So then 2 tablespoons brown sugar, 1 1/4 teaspoon salt, 1 cup of bread flour, 3 cups of regular flour. Now, if you don't want the bread flour, or like me, I don't have all that flour in my house. I use all-purpose. I used to use 4 cups all-purpose flour. Then you mix all that. You can mix it with your mixer if you have a dough hook. If you don't have a dough hook, you can mix it all by hand until it gets into a nice ball. So, okay. Once you get it into a nice solid ball, then you're gonna put some oil on your pan on a bowl and put it in the bowl and cover it and let it set for an hour. Okay. Make sure you oil the bowl so that it doesn't stick and it has room to slide up the thing. I didn't wipe that very good. I just sprayed. I didn't wipe it around. When you do that, after an hour, you're going to weigh it out. You're going to roll. Okay. What you use, and the recipe, when I print it up for you, I'll put it up with this. It's going to call 2 cups of water, 2 tablespoons baking soda, some coarse salt, and 2 to 4 tablespoons of butter melted. 4 tablespoons of butter is a half a stick of butter, and that's what I melted. Okay. The baking soda, I actually used 4 tablespoons because to me, I think that works a little bit better. That's just my opinion. Ooh, smells good. That's just my opinion. And that part of the recipe is all for after. You've got to dip your pretzels in the baking soda and water in order to make them golden brown. Okay. If you don't do that, then they don't come out golden brown, and they come out this ashy color, and they don't look very appetizing, and they don't look good. Okay? So that's how you get them golden brown. If your baking soda is not, if they're not coming out quite golden brown with the baking soda, then you add a little bit more baking soda. The key to making the baking soda work right is you want to use hot water to dissolve your baking soda. You don't want to put it in there and mix and then have baking soda, gritty baking soda in the bottom of your container. Okay? And I can tell this right here, I didn't use enough hot water. My water wasn't hot enough because I have baking soda in the bottom. Okay? Mix it up and wait for the baking soda to dissolve. That's what you got to, if it's not dissolving, keep mixing until it's dissolved. That way it'll stay dissolved and it won't settle at the bottom like this did. So I needed to make mine a little bit hotter. When I worked at Auntie Anne's, we did about 200-degree water is what come out of our coffee maker, and that's what we mixed our. And if you want to do that, you sure can if you have a coffee maker. You need 2 cups of water. Put your 2 cups on your K-cup, and you got 2 cups of hot water, and it's really hot coming out of there. So that's what how you're going to get it all together. Your butter, you're going to melt it. Make sure you put it in a microwave-safe dish, where you have a mess like I had. And make sure when you're melting your butter in the microwave, do it in increments of like 15 seconds so that you don't overheat it. And that's what made my container melt, because I used this exact same container, only I put it in there for a minute because I was in a hurry. Or you use a glass container, you don't have to worry about that. So ooh, yeah. Oh, looking good. My cheese is melted. My pretzel dogs. All right. So let's pull those out. I'm going to show you what we have here. Oh. Now this happens if you don't wrap them tight enough, which I didn't, unfortunately. My marshmallows all oozed out, but that's okay. It's still going to be good. But look how yummy my cheesy pretzels look. Look how yummy my cheesy pretzels look. Look at that. Woo! We're just going to pull them off there like that. Look at that. Some pretzel dogs. Look how nice and golden brown they are. My pretzel sticks. And then my little snackies. There we go. There's still some marshmallowy goodness in there, so we'll be all right. So, this is what we have. So we're going to take these and I'm going to dip them in the, again, you only need to dip the tops. You don't need to dip the whole thing unless you're doing cinnamon sugar. You only need to dip the tops. We don't need all that butter. On the cheese. Now, if this had pepperoni on it, it would just be amazingly awesome. Look how good that looks. But if you don't like that, now you could dip that in some marinara sauce if you've made some good marinara sauce in your double mix. Oops. So my chocolate's not doing well because I think I burnt it, so I'm sorry about not being able to do the chocolate for you. But these are your pretzel sticks, and you would take them and you would dip them in chocolate. Just dip the ends in chocolate. You know, don't dip the whole thing. But since we didn't get to do that, we're going to make them cinnamon nuggets. And these we're going to let cool just a little bit, and then we'll put them in the butter. But there you have it, folks. What do I do about cinnamon sugar? We'll throw these little sticks in here and roll them up and have some cinnamon sugar sticks. And then those guys that wanted, Deborah, those people at work that wanted something sweeter, you got the sticks. You can also do the nuggets in the cinnamon sugar. And the cinnamon sugar is just a blend of cinnamon sugar. You know, however you want yours. I don't use a lot of cinnamon because I like cinnamon, but it doesn't like me. So I have to cut back a little on the cinnamon, so mine's probably more sugar than cinnamon, but it is still cinnamon sugar. And there you have it. Folks, and that's how we do pretzels in my house. And again, you see all that I've already made. Let me see how many more. I'm sure that this will make about, this particular recipe will make about 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to make about 5 more pretzels. So this particular recipe made, let's see, I made 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, about 13 pretzels with it. So that's a pretty good bunch of pretzels out of that. You can also use this if you wanted. If you have the small rock, you can even do it in this one. This is the small toaster oven stoneware bar pan. You make a pizza in here. Use this right here and make a pizza. Or if you have the round one, make that as your pizza dough. Use this dough. It makes an amazing pizza. Okay, and put whatever you want on it, and do your own personal pan pizza. So this will go right in the toaster oven. I'm not sure about the 8-inch pizza pan, but I suspect it might too. I use this in the toaster oven all the time. That's what it's for. So there you go, folks. I hope this helps you, and I hope you find more use to use with your pretzel maker. And let the kids just experiment. One year, I had a Boy Scout Patrol Leader Council meeting at my house. And let me show you what we did. You know, it's just a rope, right? We did square knots. Okay. We also did. Let's see. Did the square knot. Then we did the bowline on a bike. So be creative. Do whatever you want with them. No matter what you make with them, it's pretzel dough, and everybody loves pretzels. Dip them in some cheese. Dip them in some marinara sauce. Ranch dip, icing, whatever you want to dip them in it because it makes them all that much better. Again, if you're going to use a kosher salt, be very, very sparing with the kosher salt because you may oversalt. If you can find a coarser kosher salt, again, be sparing with them. But if you stop at your local pretzel store like Auntie Anne's and say, hey, can I just have a little bit of extra salt in a container? I'm sure they would give you some extra salt in a little container. I know mine would, but I have it in there, so they'll give me anything I want. So, look, folks, y'all have a great day, and thanks for hanging out with me today in my kitchen while I was making pretzels. Y'all have a wonderful day.